coming to you from fucking feral as shit audio. The new erotica for this generation.
Oh.
Here's an excerpt. As her lips grimaced against his mound, she sighed in anticipation, and then let out an extraordinary fart. Janine?
Yes, my love.
You're quivering.
Oh, I am. And the only part that quivers more than my legs is my labia majora.
As he reached down to grab her lengthy labia, he felt something strong pressing against his hand.
It's my clit.
Oh, it's huge.
I know.
Can I suck it?
I'd love that more than anything.
If you want to hear more, sign up to fucking feralishshitaudio.com to continue this excerpt of Titiana's Throbbing Clit, coming to you this summer. This anxiety is crushing me. Yikes. Well, can we have some thematic social media banter?
Clark Fuckerberg is out again. He's just...
Clark Fuckerberg? Is he a cricketer?
Yeah, sure. He's a cricketer, and what he's batting is he's batting fucking social Facebook into the outfield. He's scored a strike, and he's gunning for Goggle, you know?
Gunning for Goggle.
Gunning for Goggle. That actually
Gunning for Goggle.
That sounds like a great Sundance movie.
It does.
You know? Gunning for Goggle.
And then the trailer's like...
It'd star someone like Jonah Ryan, who's someone who's been like an indie comedian, but for 40 years. Alright, not 40, but 20.
Have you ever been scared? No. Have you? No.
I love Australian movies.
Jim. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. And then there's like shots of a ute and an outback, but it's like dystopian.
Ooh, but not really. Like the original Mad Max and the Rover, it doesn't really commit to its dystopianism. It just looks a bit shit. And because it's set in like rural Australia, you can't actually tell if it's just a bit shit because it's post-apocalyptic or because it's just a bit shit.
This is a ute flipping over. And then
this
it's
is
called
the trailer,
like,
right?
Yeah, and then it's called like, and then you see in the sunrise the title comes up, and it's like,
Gunning for Gorga.
Gunning for Gorga. Yeah, that's the one. Gunning for Gorga. Welcome to Anxiety, the podcast where we drink some tea. You'll share a laugh, hopefully, and at the end of the episode, we'll sing for thee.
Nice.
Thank you.
I like that.
Made sense, which is rare for me.
It is.
Thank you so much. I've grown as a person.
You're now coherent.
It's bad timing for like spit to choke me. This podcast has made me evolve as a human being. Like, I'm changing, guys.
It made you evolve?
It made me a mole. You fucking mole.
Bloody mole.
Ew.
Do people still call people that?
This is Anxiety, where really we're characters from Puberty Blues. You fucking mole. Let's go surf at Cronulla. I've evolved. I've become a better human being. I am. My acrostic levels have actually kind of improved.
I think so.
Like at work, I was properly like spitting off better acrostic poems than I've ever said in this stupid podcast. Like ever.
This wonderful podcast.
I feel awful. Every time I mention this podcast, I immediately just say, that stupid podcast. Because I'm ashamed of everything I make, everything I hold, everything I want to let go.
Now that sounds like a little bit of anxiety.
Wait, sorry. Of sandwiches.
Anxiety.
Yeah, I feel like this podcast has gotten better, even though this is only the 5th episode, and that's a little premature to say. It is improving, but also B, my acrostic skills are improving as well.
Absolutely.
And I think we're getting better at holding a topic for longer. I think an issue that we will have as podcasters is that we like to go on tangents and never return.
Yeah.
And that's really difficult to follow. So when I listen to episodes, I'm like, this is fun, but I also wish that we got back to a point that we got distracted from. It's still fine, but I think that we'll improve on that.
Given that it's the beginning of the podcast, do you think that means it's time for recommendation corner? Boing, ding, ding, ding. Yeah?
You started last time because
So
I bowed out, so I'll start this time.
Okay, great. Oh, Jesus. She's frozen. That's the best snap I've ever done. Oh, okay, don't... Yeah.
Sandwiches. Oh my god! You're the best. My recommendation... Actually, I keep thinking with my recommendations, I want them to be more obscure. Like, I don't want them to just be like, watch this popular show that everyone's listening to. Like, that was my regret with The Teacher's Pet, is that even though I really wanted to recommend it, like, it's really popular at the moment. You don't need to recommend that shit. Everyone's listening to it. I'd rather recommend things that aren't getting much attention or are more obscure.
Right.
But, fuck it. I want to recommend Nathan for You.
That's a great recommendation.
It's such a funny show. And I'd never watched it before. And I haven't watched all of it. I watched all of season 3 in one night. What an incredibly funny show. It's kind of like... Well, it feels very similar to Sacha Baron Cohen being at Cohen, but as you said, he isn't there to just make people be patient. He's kind of there... I don't know, his sense of humor is a lot funnier and a lot more clever. I think that it's a fascinating show to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like a Sacha Baron Cohen thing where it's kind of awkward. It has a proper story. So the first episode of that season about the TVs really blew my mind. I was like, that was a proper full-on, well-told story.
Yeah.
That was posed as a guy trying to save a business in the funniest way possible. Which is essentially like... run a promotion for $1 TVs, price match it with Best Buy, and then buy all Best Buy's TVs, and then sell them at a really high price at your own business. Like, that was so funny, but it was actually a genuinely good story. So that's my recommendation corner, really quickly, is Nathan for You. If you're looking for something to genuinely make you laugh and entertain you, that's a good one.
Also, side note, I don't have anything to recommend.
Really? How about Casserole? Would you recommend Our Cat?
I would recommend Our Cat. Come have a visit, have a pat, and you'll learn to love this old cat.
This week is going to be about social media.
Yeah.
Because, here's my little lead-up story, guys. I did go to see the concert, Courtney Barnett, which was great. I had a really good time, and the show was really good, and I cried a lot because it felt like the end of my Courtney Barnett obsession. It was like the perfect close. And when I was there, I was thinking about how, like, Courtney Barnett's Instagram little, like, description is writes songs, sings them. And I was just like, the main difference between someone like Courtney Barnett, who is honestly, like, living a dream, not my dream, but her dream, and I want to live my dream, is that she makes things and then does them. And, like, I'm not really doing that. And I was sitting there thinking, like, what do I waste the most amount of my valuable time doing? Because everyone's time is valuable. Yeah. What am I wasting and I had to say that because it made me feel really, like, pompous saying that my time is valuable. Everyone's time is valuable. But I was sitting there thinking, what do I waste the most amount of time doing? And look, I'll admit, I was really drunk. And I was like, I waste hours of my day going on Facebook and Instagram and Tumblr, and I don't use any of them properly anyway. Why do I have these stupid apps on my phone? They take up so much space. I don't want them anymore. And I just, like, picked up my phone in the middle of the concert and just deleted all the apps. It was like really freeing because for the rest of the content I kept thinking like, oh, maybe I should like film this, or maybe I should make a post about seeing Courtney Barnett, maybe I should check this and that, and then I was like, no, I can't. It's not on my phone anymore. And that was kind of really nice and freeing.
Yeah.
And I'm actually genuinely surprised that since I did that, it's only Instagram that I've gotten back, and I swear to you, I've only checked it once. And that was to check Courtney Barnett's story. But that made me just think, I don't want social media anymore. I don't want it in my life anymore. And that's why this episode is about social media, is because I have a lot of anxiety around it. I had a lot of anxiety in particular around Instagram and Facebook because I'd never post there. And I had Tumblr for years. I had Tumblr since 2012. And I had Snapchat, which I was starting to use less and less anyway. So I had these things on my phone where I was watching other people's lives and never contributing any of my own. And that kind of made me feel like I was missing out constantly.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want people to see me. I'm an intensely private person. I don't want to have a really active Instagram or Snapchat or fucking Facebook account, which is why I never post. But then watching other people post all the time, it started making me feel like, are they having more of a life than me? Which, no, everything really is staged on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I started feeling like I was missing out, and so I just got rid of it. And I haven't really wanted to get Facebook back, or Tumblr back, or even Snapchat back. I just wanted it off my phone.
I mean, I get you with that. I, quite a while ago, decided to stop posting on Facebook in particular, because every single time I would, a whole bunch of different thoughts would go through my head. One was, I think this is interesting, but I don't want anybody to look at it and then think this is dumb.
Yeah.
Then I also was like, I want people to look at this, but I don't want everybody to look at this, and that's weird to then put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then also, there's the, like, I know that posts don't need likes, that's really stupid, but also, like, if it got 2 likes, I'd be like, this is really depressing, because now it's something that nobody bothered to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Which is so stupid. Well, it's not stupid, but it's unhealthy as a thought train, and it's not good. And, you know, I know we shouldn't care about it, but, you know, it's hard to not be in that mind space because it creates that dopamine cycle, and when you don't get it...
And it's not just a dopamine cycle, it's also, like, if you don't get likes equals popularity and, like, respect, and if you don't get likes, you're not getting popularity or respect, and it makes you look like a loser. So there's also, like, there's a lot of social status attached to social media.
Yeah.
And the term social media presence is ridiculous, and I've never wanted to be one. But when I see people that I've known from high school and, like, they're actually popular on Facebook or Instagram and making posts, I'm kind of like, why couldn't I ever do that?
Yeah.
You know the reason I haven't updated my fucking Facebook photo in 2 years? I hate getting likes on it. I hate trying to rank how many likes I'm going to get.
Yeah.
I haven't updated my Facebook photo in a long time because, A, fuck Facebook. I don't care about it. I don't really want to update it. But also, I don't want to update it, and then people I know will see it and not like it, but also see how many likes I've gotten. And then they'll be like, oh, she got 27 likes? Because I honestly felt like for a while, the amount of likes you get on your Facebook photo would indicate how popular you were.
Like, best indicator of all of them.
It was tiers.
It's interesting to see what ends up coming into it when it comes to likes is a lot of, like, gender and social dynamics, because, of course, like, the people who often would get those huge amounts of likes were attractive 14 to 22-year-old women.
Yeah.
But that also means that doesn't advantage them, because that puts way more pressure on them getting enormous amounts of likes.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And their photos aren't, like, the photos are always staged as well. Like, when I would, like, there were girls that I went to high school with who were, like, really nice and popular girls. And, like, they weren't mean or bitchy. They did well at school. They were really pretty. They loved the beach. And when they'd upload a Facebook photo, like... Right now, these days, they would often do, like, a nice one in Thailand in front of some islands, or they'll do one at their graduation ceremony at Sydney Uni, or they'll do, like, one at a restaurant with, like, a nice plate of food, and they'll always be really pretty looking and natural looking, and they'll smile. Those always get over, like, 200 likes.
Yeah.
And it's because it's like, hey, it's me just being natural and doing life and having a great time. But they're always staged.
Yeah.
Like, obviously people take Facebook photos and, like, their profile pictures and choose the profile pictures to represent the best bits of their life, which makes sense, but it means that we're always looking at other people's best bits of their life and thinking, why isn't my everyday life like that? When their everyday life isn't like that.
Yeah, you see the best version of somebody, and nobody is the best version of themselves all the time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's the whole issue with social media, is that it's all staged.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, this is the side of me I want you to see, so I'm gonna make tweets that are really funny and are the best thought I've had all day, and I'm gonna take a photo that's the best I've taken in 2 months and upload it with a filter on it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I don't want this episode to be like attacking people for using social media to make themselves feel better. That's fair and valid, and sometimes you kind of need to do that these days to feel like you have a place somewhere.
Yeah.
But
What was it? The 80s was crack, the 90s was heroin, the 2000s and 2010s have been social media, right? That's been our drug of choice.
Pretty much. But, like, it shouldn't... that needs to change. Like, social media and the way that we consume it and use it needs to change, because all I think about when I think about social media isn't, like, excitement about making a post. I just feel guilty that I don't use it enough.
Yeah.
And then I feel annoyed that I feel guilty. And then I just feel like a loser because I don't exist on social media. And apparently, if you don't exist on social media, people just kind of think you're dead.
I don't like confessing about how many times I've written a full entire post and then deleted the text. And the almost equal amount of times I have written and posted a full post and then within 30 minutes deleted it.
I don't like confessing how many times I've thought about writing a post on Facebook over the last 3 years, because it's none. I don't even have a thought about it. I don't even consider it. I don't even start typing anything out. I just don't want anyone to know me on social media.
But, like, there was one, I can't even remember what it was. I was just getting really annoyed about something. It was probably some political thing. And I typed out this whole thing being like, this is crazy. It was not to do with the leadership spill. It was just this whole stuff being like, this is nuts. It's very upsetting for everybody and it's crazy. What's going on? Oh, it was the Coles plastic bag thing.
Right.
And then I was like, who cares? Everyone's going to think it's dumb. It's going to get 2 likes and then I'm going to feel worse about myself. I'll just delete it and then I don't. And then I can go, nobody cares, but there's no proof.
That's a big thought I have as well, is who cares? Because honestly, I read a lot of other people's posts and I think, who cares? And it's not... I never really think that when it is an important post like Cole's. I like it when people have something important or interesting to say about a current social event. But when people do make a post being like, having breakfast with this person, haven't caught up in ages, and then it has like 50 likes, I'm like, these people don't care.
By the way, that's what I like about Instagram. The stakes feel way lower for what you can and can't post. Whenever I see someone on Instagram, because it's so much easier to go through and the stakes feel lower, go like, having breakfast, I'm like, great, and then I can just move past.
Well, like, that's the thing. Instagram and Facebook are different platforms. When you've got Facebook, you're making a post, like it's a text post, and I feel like that has more weight and brevity, and you should use it better. But then in Instagram, it's all about photos and visual, like just images. So you can post a picture of your breakfast, because that's what Instagram is there for, and then you can caption it, having breakfast with my friend, and it's like, yeah, that's what Instagram's for. But on Facebook, and it's weird talking about Facebook because I almost feel like it's this like realm I've never really entered into, because that's half true. With Facebook, if you write a post, it really has to have a purpose, more of a purpose.
And people are meaner on Facebook.
People are way meaner. People are angry.
People are rude. People are aggressive. Every single fight I've had with somebody on social media is exclusively on Facebook.
Yeah, or YouTube. YouTube comments are really awful as well.
Yeah.
Which is another sad thing, is that if you ever put yourself out on social media, there will always be a bunch of people that hate you for it.
Well, I did. Like, I've told you before about how, like, I would try and make YouTube videos and be, like, a teenager who was trying to make funny videos that weren't very good, of course, but, you know, then there's just comments that are like, kill yourself and stop doing this forever, or, you know, your dreams are stupid, you're shit, you're a bad person. And these aren't like my anxious reading of it, that's the explicit text of it. And because I was unpopular on YouTube, I could read it and be like, these are people I know, but because I'm on the internet, they can't look at me. They feel like it's way easier to be mean and vicious, and it's just, it's nothing but upsetting and disheartening.
Yeah. Social media is like the home of, obviously, the keyboard warrior, where you can hide behind a computer screen and say whatever you want to other people, and it will either really hurt their feelings or make them uncomfortable or validate something maybe they shouldn't be validated on. Like, I don't want this to come off as we're just attacking people that are using social media. But at some point, we need to address the fact that people feel like they only exist if they're seen on social media.
Yeah.
And social dynamics have obviously changed since we've gotten social media. And that's been for the better and for the worse. There's a spreading of awareness. There's been more movements that have started, like supporting other women and supporting like charitable causes through social media.
Me Too, Arab Spring, all of those things.
And those were incredible and really important. But there's also just a lot of self-hatred and plain old hatred on social media that really destroys people's sense of like happiness, well-being, self-worth, like mine.
Yeah.
I don't even do anything on social media and I still feel worthless because I'm not doing anything on social media. And I know that if I made a post on social media, no one would care. And that's okay. You don't need to care. That's kind of the point, but I need to figure that out as well.
Yeah. It is that whole thing. If you don't feel like you're talking to another person. Like when people get angry at other people on, say, news articles, it's not because they go like, that person is saying something I disagree with. It's like, those words are wrong and I'm going to yell at them until the words become right.
Yeah.
And it's just that awfulness. And I think it's interesting because we're some of the last years of people that we don't remember life before the internet.
No.
But we remember when social media became a thing. We remember when Facebook started.
Yeah.
And I remember when YouTube was fun. And when it was funny videos and people didn't just comment on everything that would have a comment train that would lead to the N-word every time.
Yeah.
Or just say kill yourself. Like, I remember people figuring out how to use Facebook when there really were Facebook posts that were like, having a cookie.
Yeah. It'd be like, Nina is ... having a cookie, smiley face.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's how you used it back then. And that was the thing. I remember when The Social Network came out, and I really didn't want to go see it, but I did. I went to go see it with my friends in high school. And it is a good film, but I remember thinking,
movie.
Really? We're watching a film about Facebook? Like, I don't want to watch a fucking film about Facebook, because I've never liked Facebook, and I've never enjoyed Facebook. It's never been a place where I felt happy posting. It's always felt cold and sterile, because I'm shouting my opinion and thoughts into a void that no one cares about.
Yeah.
And if they do care about it, it's like an aggressive reaction. So I didn't want to go see a fucking film about this new phenomenon that was Facebook. And I didn't want to see... I know it was important because it was a mark of a new social dynamic and a new era of history. But I didn't want to go see this film about a shocking website that always made me depressed. It is a good film, but like I remember going to see it being like, man, Facebook's getting really popular. That was 8 years ago, and it feels like a whole different world. Where Facebook is almost falling a little bit into irrelevance as well.
Well, I mean, everything that's been happening with it means that it's at the point where it has to change or everyone's going to abandon it. Teenagers don't use it as much anymore because other platforms aren't as awful.
Yeah. And like in 2009, like the other thing I've used for pretty much most of my adult life and still do ashamedly, and I never like admitting it, was Tumblr.
Yeah.
I was really, really addicted to the internet as a teenager, like many are, because I hated my real life and the internet was like a fantasy world that I could escape into. And I had a Tumblr, and I didn't use it very much. I started it in 2009, and I really started using it in 2011. And I never was popular on Tumblr that much at all. But I still used it because I was like, this is a private place. It's like social media, but where no one knows who you are. And that was always my problem with Facebook, is that it's not real life. You're talking to people on the internet, but all the people on the internet are people you know in real life. And I hated that. If I was going to talk to people on the internet, I want them to be people I would never, ever know or meet.
Well, that's
because I want privacy with my social media.
Sometimes, as an adult, I look back and I feel like maybe having random internet friends would have actually helped me when I was younger, where I felt very lonely and didn't know how to express any of my feelings for fear of people judging me.
Yeah.
But I never was able to get to that point where I saw strangers on the internet as people who were easier to talk to than people I knew.
Me neither. I did have one internet friend, but we never like talked on like a video chat or anything. We exchanged emails.
Yeah.
Again and again. Because I was really into Quizilla, which is like literally non-existent at this point. It is a shut down site. Yeah. And I was a big fan fiction writer, and I got really popular on Quizilla. That's the one website I've ever been popular on, was a fan fiction website. And my stories became like the front page stories, which when I look back on it, I do get a weird sense of pride out of that. For a while, people were reading my story the most. But it meant I got a lot of emails and a lot of like fan mail, which was lovely. But it was a lot of random people just saying, your story meant a lot to me. And I was like, hell yeah, I feel popular and validated and great. And then it was odd just moving to Facebook, where it was all these people in real life that were like, fuck you, we don't like you, we're not going to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
And look, I also don't want to use this episode to whine about why I've never been successful on social media either, because at the end of the day, I've never wanted to use it very much. But I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm tired of feeling like I don't exist because I'm not using Instagram.
Well, you can also use it as a form of self-destruction, which is what I was doing with Facebook. That's why I deleted off my phone. I didn't delete my account because I still kind of use it for news often, and I go on my browser. But what I kept doing is I was just obsessively checking it on my phone, and I would go to... at that point, I was following a lot more things, and I would find something that made me angry and upset, and then I would read the comments that would make me more angry and upset, and then I would like look at the one that's the most upsetting, and then you like press like view more replies, and there's like 50 replies of people arguing, and I'd be like, this is a bunch of shit. And it is a form of self-destruction. It's like smoking or overeating or binge-watching something that when you shouldn't, because it's just making yourself upset on purpose.
Yeah.
And it becomes addictive, and I hated it. I hated it so much, it made me want to fight with everybody.
But that was why I deleted it. That was the thought process. Was literally I was watching Courtney Barnett, and I was like, the reason she's successful is that at one point she focused on her own stuff more than other people's stuff. And that's what I need to start doing, is that I need to stop focusing on what other people are doing. Because essentially what I was doing was waking up, getting my phone, and going on Facebook and Instagram being like, what have other people done?
Yeah.
And then I'd never think about myself, and I'd walk around being like, this person did that, and that person did this, and I feel like I haven't done anything, so I'll just check Instagram again 5 times in a row. And it made me feel like shit. And it made me feel like I didn't exist.
Yeah.
But I do exist.
On the other side, I was going to make a different point, but I want to make this point. That's why I've enjoyed trying to post more on Instagram. Because like I said, the stakes feel a lot lower on Instagram, because all the posts are frivolous. So I try really hard to remember that it doesn't matter if my post is frivolous, because then I'm just one of everybody.
Yeah.
And I kept looking back and being like, I've got like 2 photos on Facebook from the last 5 years. I've got like 10 posts, and they're all just sharing articles. And I had nothing on Instagram, and I was like, in this modern world where we track ourselves in this way, I feel like it makes me look back and feel like nothing happened, and feel like I didn't exist for 5 years. And it stressed me out, and I was like, okay, I just want something that I don't have to worry about what other people are thinking of it. It's almost like a journaling device to go like, I baked a cake that day. And so it doesn't matter so much. It was just to kind of go like, here's a thing, it doesn't matter. I don't know. I honestly can't quite put it into words, but it started making me feel a bit better, which is why I've been trying to do it a little bit more.
I would like to do that, but I get really angry when I think about social media, because I am a private person, and every time I'm like, I want to post this to social media, I'm like, no, I don't want, and then I can think of the particular people I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
And I hate that it's so public. I know that social media is meant to be public, but I hate it. And every time I have this instinct of, I'll post that into Instagram, I'm like, no, I don't want these people to see it. I don't want them to know about my life in this way.
Yeah.
Because I never feel like I can totally be myself around a lot of different people. So if I'm presenting myself in one way on Instagram, all these people that might see me in a different way are seeing this side of me. And that's a lot of anxiety, is that I'm like, you don't know me, and I don't want you to know this side of me. It's so intensely public, and I'm so intensely private.
Yeah.
So I hate using it. But I also want to use it because I want people to see me and know about me, and I want to feel validated sometimes. But I am also terrified of rejection and criticism and people laughing at me, which happens a lot in social media.
Absolutely. People do that all the time, and it's upsetting.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Let's take a quick break because we need to lighten up the conversation.
Hey, it's me, Regina, and I'm here to tell you about boots. I love boots. Well, I got some big ones, small ones, half-inch ones, 3/4-inch ones. You know, boots. Big shoes, round end. Love them. You should get some boots down at Regina's Boot Bash. We're doing a big bash sale on boots. Get your bashing boots and your banging boots and your binger boots and your best boot for boats. We even got gum boots, you know, for when it's wet. If you've got a passion for bashing, come to Regina's Boot Bash. Ah, yeah. Love those boots. Do-do-do-do-do.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Oh, my back.
Serving you more cantankerous talk about how shit social media is and how it makes you feel really bad about yourself.
I'm sorry, cantankerous.
I don't really have any like funny anecdotes or stories to share about social media.
I told you mine about the guy who's telling me to kill myself. That was my funny anecdote.
That was it. That was the funniest bit of the episode.
Yeah.
We laughed, we cried, we laughed again. We were kind of bullying you. Again.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't know. I don't have any stories or funny things to say about social media. It's all kind of shitty and makes me feel bad. All I can say really is that I deleted it off my phone and I'm happier for it. And if you're thinking that maybe you should delete it, just do it. You don't need that in your life.
Well, the main thing I would say is that you don't need to delete your account. Like, that's what I did with Facebook. Sometimes I still waste too much time on Facebook on browser, especially when I'm at work, admittedly.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't need to delete your account. Just delete the app. You can, because especially since, like, these days we're barely ever at a desktop. So, like, just delete it off your phone and then you'll automatically use it less.
Exactly. And if you're not ready to, at least take a break. See what life is like without it. This sounds very preachy because I've been off social media for 2 days. But I don't know, I've enjoyed it and I haven't missed it. My tip of the day is just really a reminder that you exist outside of social media. You don't need to make an Instagram post about that fucking small thing you did in your day. Like, you don't need to share every minute of your day with people around you. You don't have to prove yourself like that. You exist even if you're not sharing every moment of your life. And you don't need to share every moment of your life. You're allowed to be private and you don't have to put things on the internet for the whole world to see. If you're a regular person, if you want to do it, fine. But if you're wondering, why am I doing this? You don't have to do it.
Well, that's what my tip is, sort of like a compliment to what you're saying, in the sense that, like, I think the best way to treat social media is be honest, and that means being honest with yourself. If you do something and you want to post it, then post it, and don't worry about what other people think. Be honest to yourself. If you think you want to post it because you think you should, don't bother.
Yeah.
Because that's where it starts to get unhealthy. That's where you focus more on likes rather than actually what you enjoyed about the thing. That's where you start to feel pressure to have to engage with social media. Totally. So just be honest with yourself and use it the way you want to use it. If you just want to, like, I honestly right now mostly use Facebook as a news aggregator because I find it easier than, like, RSS readers. So I can just find out what's happening by scrolling through Facebook. But I don't feel any need to post. And I said with Instagram, I only post when I'm like, I would enjoy posting this. But if the idea of posting it stresses me out too much, I just won't do it because I know I'll feel a lot worse if I do, and then keep thinking about it and keep feeling anxious about it, and because you hold that, and that makes you check it more compulsively, and it's awful.
I think if you're posting, try to stage your life less. If you've made a nice breakfast, don't fucking, like, lay it out on a table and set some flowers behind it. If you're going to share your life, share it honestly.
Yeah.
And if you're going to pose for a picture, pose honestly, pose the way that you look at that moment, because all you'll do is that you'll look at your Instagram and be like, why do I not feel like that person? You don't feel like that person because that's not you. You're not sharing your honest self with the world. You're sharing what you want to be, which is a sad thing to do. I feel like social media only makes people feel worse about themselves.
I've really found it cathartic to, especially in my ridiculous tags that I add on my Instagram, to talk about the fact that I feel depressed.
Yeah.
Because nobody's depressed on social media, but everybody's depressed.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by be honest. Like,
it's rewarding to say it out loud.
Yeah.
When someone says, why are you acting like this? As soon as I say, I feel depressed, I feel so much better.
And
that's being honest. And it's the same about anxiety, is that I get so much out of this podcast because I can just say openly, this makes me anxious and feel like shit. And that makes me feel like I've conquered it. Like, I don't feel like I've beaten social media or that it's a thing to beat. But by saying that I don't like it and I don't want to use it anymore, and by deleting it off my phone, I feel a lot more free and a lot less heavy. And I'm sick of wondering why I can't even be bothered to pretend to be a better version of myself. I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in trying to show you who I am. I don't want you to know me.
One positive thing about social media, as someone who's had a lot of negative reactions with it, it can be really, really valuable, especially on certain websites, to ask questions and find out things from people. Because, I mean, it's always stupid when you ask a question that you can answer with a really quick Google. But that's one of the things I like about some parts of Reddit and some groups on Facebook and even things on Instagram. Like, you can find out things from people who are just regular people, as opposed to YouTube or pages on Facebook, where it's always particular groups of people who want to be a personality, who want to be a media thing, and that's a very specific archetype of a person than the kind of person who might just be in a subreddit or on a Facebook group.
That's kind of the problem with social media, is that the point of social media was to connect people, but I never felt like anyone was ever connecting on Instagram.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're connecting with people. It feels like you're showcasing. And that's not the same as talking and meeting people around the world through the internet and through social media. Instagram doesn't give you a chance to do that, nor does Facebook. Facebook is about knowing people that you already know and then just having them online. And then Instagram is about, again, showing a false part of your life, or staging a lot of your life for the world to see. But again, it's not connecting with people. And that is what's good about forums and things on the internet, which is not social media. That's just like online communication.
It's media that's social. It's the oldest form of social media, but it's still social media.
Well, social media at this point has evolved into not being something where it's a conversation. Social media has evolved into you just seeing things about other people. I don't look at a Reddit thread and be like, yeah, social media. That doesn't feel like a social media account. That seems like a forum.
Yeah.
Which you can go and discuss things at, which is the best part of the internet, is learning new things and meeting new people. I never get that out of Instagram. I never get that out of Facebook. I never got that out of Tumblr.
It can also be the worst parts of the internet, because that's where, like, incels gather and people figure out how to assault groups of people, and on 4chan they write lists of how to make people want to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Like, it can be the worst parts of the internet, but it can also be the best part.
Exactly. So that's definitely a big difference between social media and sometimes the rest of the internet, is that you're not connecting as much as you think you are through your social media. This one's been a bummer. You want to hear my acrostic?
Yeah.
All right. Right. S is for seeing other people in their lives. O is for, oh my god, reacting to things in a false way. C is for connectivity doesn't exist in this hellish labyrinth of. I is for Instagram, never knowing what's going on there. A is for Abby, she's not there anymore. L is for lying, that's what she was doing to herself when she was using it. M is for Mish, using Instagram and feeling good. E is for every day that you log on to your phone to watch other people doing their own lives. D is for driving you insane. I is for I'm not doing it anymore. A is for Abby is free. Abby is free.
Yo, what?
This has been our episode about social media. There'll probably be another later. Do what you want is the motto of this episode. Do what you want, as long as it makes you like yourself more.
That's what the whole point I want to say is, like, engage if you want. That's awesome.
That's what it's there for.
Feel free to disengage, and you don't have to cut off entirely if you don't want. You can just pick how you want to use it.
Yeah. Just realize if it's making you unhappier.
Yeah.
And it's very liberating when you realize something isn't making you happy and that you can get out of it.
If you delete the app, you can always re-download it.
Yeah.
If you do, you're not a failure or a bad person for re-downloading it.
Take a break if
fine.
you want.
Yeah.
If you're feeling like you need to take a break from it. That's the episode. Fuckos. Get out of here.
Go.
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 Fuck off.
Go. Go.
Legit leave. Log off.
Audience.
Just log off, leave, get out of that app. Get
Get
the fuck out of here. Go fucking take a walk, alright? All these Gen X's just on their phone, all these fucking millennials, like, checking fucking Facebook, eh? Just connect.
Society's collapsing because now people look at their phones instead of newspapers.
What the fuck?
Literally everybody on a train I see not on a phone is just blankly staring forward like they want to disengage entirely with life. That's way better than on a phone.
They're like an individual thinker, right?
It's like I can't be doing something important or possibly thinking about something whilst on my phone.
Just pull your head out of your fucking ass and don't make a fucking Instagram post about it, cunt.
Or do.
Bye.
Bye.